You're going to keep doing great. You're going to keep looking great. While someone is going crazy, somebody is trying to like do this and do that, like, and you just like, yeah, with your crazy delusional ass, yeah, with your creepy weird self, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's how God works. Don't ever come against somebody just because you're thinking you know, you think you that, you think you like, yo, it's important to leave people alone. And this person here, they should have never messaged you. All right? They should have never, ever.
Y'all, I was in the middle of listening to the readers that inspire me to get out here and do my job. Because when you have a job that's this like niche, it's really or niche or whatever the fuck, it's really hard to find somebody else that I guess can reflect what you need to see back to yourself because you yourself pull it apart. That I think that just comes with these humans, right? So when I'm getting ready for work, I listen to my little music and then I like catch tea from somebody else, boost myself up, and understand that this is what I'm doing for something for somebody else when I go to work. I've flubbed. Oh my gosh, guys, I've had so much like energy pinging through me today. I guess I'm excited because like everything came together in a clash. So fucking Forrest Gump. I know, right? That's the most random thing. But when I first started my spiritual journey, one of the first downloads when I didn't know what a download was like I was supposed to have a life like Forrest Gump. I didn't get what the fuck that meant, right? So yesterday when I was all down and out, reconstructing my whole life plan in my head, right? Forrest Gump comes on. And I remember that was like my favorite fucking movie when I was little. There was like no rhyme or reason that I could figure out when I was little. But as I got older, it was like because this movie shows you what happens if you stay in your flow and then what happens when you succumb to your trauma. And this is through Forrest and Jenny. Now, Forrest started off with the same number of obstacles as Jenny in different ways, but Jenny ran away from every opportunity to get better in life until life beat her down until she had no choice but to get it together. And then after that, she had like this much life yet left. I mean, it was like good to the end, but Forrest still had like this much life because the whole time, instead of fighting against where the flow of life was going for him, he just like literally stuff got dark for him. His mama died. He was just out there running. And then he was a whole billionaire. Like life was freaking crazy. Nobody could have told him that when he was little, when they told him he was about to be in the carpeted hallway and his legs didn't work, that he was ever going to be like that. So now full circle, I'm like, that's the concept of flow. Going along with opportunities as they come up because there's nothing that you really can control anyway. Jenny was running from herself through everything. Forrest was just like, there was, I don't even know if he was thinking about himself. I guess he was having thoughts, but his thoughts, even as the narration of the story, was him just going along with it. There was no big thought for it. There's nothing to think about. And we all overthink so much. These scripts that I'm reading, these things that we have all come here together to talk about, are just reminding you of what you signed up for already. You already paid for the ride. You're already in it. It's already in motion. There's no stopping it. All you can do is analyze why you would have wanted to get back on this ride in the first place and do this in this life. Every day when you wake up or when you're having a moment of struggle and you're like, God, why would I do this to myself? When you're like that, really ask for the answer because you absolutely did make this decision. That's what I got today. So I was listening to my message and I feel like I just made a post about the contract issue I was having. Take that advice as needed. What I got over time was the masculine's 5D self is doing the work of their 3D self by reaching out to a lot of the feminines. But when we are stepping into their timeline at their vibration, there is a dissonance. In order to continue the relationship, for it to build, you have to come to a common thread, a common frequency so that you can build together. You can't have a guy that's still operating in his 3D behavior and you come over here with your 5D self and it starts to build. No, y'all are both going to try to like, and it's going to cause a crash in there. So the only thing that can be done is to allow the other person to do their work. And this can go either way. Remember, Jenny was the problem too. There's Jenny's out here just like there are insert random trash guy from every movie into here. So I am just going to do a quick pull. What are we releasing today? I know it's a new moon, so I guess I should use my energy deck because it has the goddess of the moon on it. But you got to release to get something. What's that thing from Princess and the Frog? You got what you wanted, but you lost what you had. That's always the price here. That is the cost of just being here in Saturn's realm in general. Exchange, growth, sacrifice. So what is the collective releasing this new moon in Virgo? Drum roll. Didn't I just tell y'all? This is crazy. The post I made this morning was about the fact that I finally figured out how to get a spiritual divorce. And I was really sad about it. I had to have a moment of everything because I don't want to do this. But that collision in between, it didn't, the no attempts from him to clean up sort of messed that up for me. So I talked to God about it. And upon talking to God about it, he was like, I have looked at this situation all the way around and decided in your favor. So this says ride in a cage, by the way. What are we releasing? Any contracts, and then the stars, any contracts that no longer serve. It turns out that these contracts have actually been open for the last 2 years. And for some people, they just got activated, but it feels like a good majority, you've already sort of been getting the pings and getting messages and stuff, but you weren't seeing somebody in person. So what I said before about the system giving you somebody else or filling in with the same person, different body type thing, it goes along with the terms of the contract. And the trial or the window was 2 years. So I'm closing a contract. I feel wonderful now because that means that I get to go forward and actually move. I was literally being halted in many, many ways. Like this was not cool at all. I look forward to what the future brings now. Before, for a long time, like doing all this magic stuff, and even during the time when I was like getting the messages about what I had to do, and this person was like coming to me in my dreams and stuff, I was like, I was having fun with magic. Why I gotta do this? And now I just started taking some of my online classes back again. I get to go back to doing all the cool stuff that I was doing before, which was collecting certificates. So when I first got into my spiritual journey and how this page actually ended up growing, as it started off as a meme page. I was just sharing stuff with people because I was like, God is cool. People need to know about this. And nobody else is like sharing memes and talking about stuff like this. So I started off of that. It wasn't me doing readings or anything, but during that time, I started taking classes for like past life regressions, just stuff that I was doing to heal my own human. It's like my soul used to be a soul doctor up in the astral, like I was fixing people's shapeshifter bodies and stuff. And in this life, because I realized, holy shit, I ended up in a human, sort of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I started doing soul surgery on myself through the tools here and through metaphysics and fucking astrophysics and shit. I ain't know none of this shit. It's just like my character came online. So whole nother thing, right? See, look, my thought got bumped because I started talking too much. I think we're supposed to like discuss this stuff with people. But since that time that this stuff started going on, I got pulled away from that. I've been sitting on these two classes that I know I need to finish because I really want their certificates. And it really used to be my biggest aspiration. When I started doing this, I was nervous of if I was gonna look like a douche because I just like had a wall of my certificates and my stuff. But when I saw Titanic, I always wanted or aspired to have a life like Rose. Not that whole beginning part, but that end scene when she's like old as fuck and she's talking about how she was an actress, she was a writer, she was a horseback rider, she was everything, and her life was wonderful, and she had kids and just lived up until the end. And it's probably because she almost died in the beginning, right? So I wanted to have that sort of thing where I just had a space that says, I was here, I did something, I did what I was supposed to do with the life I was given. So my confirmation came through this stupid ass movie called like the other Misty, the other, I think it's like it's Dave. And I usually know David Spade is in the movie. The other Misty is I believe the name. Like this guy has two bitches named Misty in his phone. One is like the girl of his dreams, and the other one is this goofy one, right? He makes a mistake and takes the goofy one to come on vacation with him. So when she shows up, he's like, oh God, whatever. So it turns out Misty has a certificate for everything. Every bad thing that happens on this trip, she already has a fucking certificate, like in CPR, in Asian cooking, in like the most random stuff, because all she has done all her life was learn and add different skills because that's her joy. And when I saw that movie, I was like, oh my gosh, I am that freak. I am that person. And lately, the ping that has been coming is become your dream girl, become your own dream girl. Who is the woman that you thought you would grow up to be? That is where your focus should be. Build your human, use this tool, because that's what it is. You're here for a good time, not a long time. Even if you get 100 years, that's still not a lot in the grander scheme of things, right? So make the best of your time. That's the thing I'm getting. Become your best self. So let's see if that pops up in this energy thing now, because what are we replacing that release with? Like a power return, a power shift. Like I literally just felt something in my like body. So what we got? Well, that's interesting. But I guess that goes along with it. Because the problem for most of us, uh, in this case, I guess I'm tapping into the feminine. Would it be fair for me to tap into the masculine? I guess so, because y'all are here too. Let me do that shit. Since it came through. Women have a hard time doing work and family. And then at the bottom of that, love. So that never usually happens. But then suddenly a plan or a play comes in and it looks like a new contract. But so for all of y'all that have been rocking through this journey, like I said, it had a limitation. It has a 2-year limitation. Whatever the contract is, the telepathy that you guys have, the time that this person is being tested to grow and all that stuff, you get a fair window of you both. It's like coming to the altar. Some of the ladies made it to the altar and were waiting, and the guy got cold feet and never showed. That's what's going on here. So for anybody who was feeling like you get messaging and you know this is the person, but something wrong. There's something bigger going on here, y'all. This is wild. This is wild. I'll meet y'all in the comments.